This season's wild ride led to this. A date in Detroit in the divisional round, and the team from the DMV did not disappoint. This team is going to the NFC Championship game. Talk a little bit about that.
Man, it's amazing. I think this group of guys is special, and it's fun to go with a group that you're so close with.
Afterwards, the celebration included legendary coach Joe Gibbs, Kevin Durant, and of course, Mr. Johnson. After all, what a magical run this has been.
Make sure you take care of those guys in there. Love you guys. All right.
And it's not over. Looking back at the Lions.
So we knew we had to get turnovers, and we got a lot of turnovers.
And ahead to the NFC Championship and round number 3 against the Eagles.
We talking about just winning moments, man. What we got to lose.
On this, Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus.
Look, T.O., I know you had 9 receptions and 122 yards in the Super Bowl last year, but there's no Super Bowl for the Eagles this year, and quite honestly, you're not going to be playing for us. Now, I know you want to come back and play against the Redskins. Everybody wants to beat the Redskins. They're going to the Super Bowl, but you're not coming back because you ran on this team. Now, next year, you might be a Bear. It's conceivable. Here's your card. Next year, you may be a Redskin. Maybe even Parcells wants you. But I got to tell you, right now, you're done. You're out of here. There is no more T.O. on this team.
One must wonder, is this conversation occurring in Philadelphia as we speak? We do not care. T.O. can come back. We know what the Washington Redskins need to do to win this game. What they have to do is run the ball, protect the passer, and eliminate all mistakes. Speaking of mistakes, let's see what happens with this T.O. scenario.
Now look, I know you changed your appearance. It doesn't work. You still stink, and you don't play well, and you got a bad attitude. So you are out of here, buddy. Out of here. Just leave. And not only that, your name's not even on your bloody jersey. Look at this. There's no T.O. anymore. Get out of here.
What's up? I'm going to tell you what, it's been all kind of surprises this year. We're just giddy here on the Tony McGee Pro Football Plus. It's our 40th year, and we have an opportunity since 2019 to see a team in the playoffs, to have your wishes. But you know what? We weren't believers at first. It's like the old songwriter said, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. And we all thought, we heard them say, we're going to make a better team. We're going to do this. We're going to get rid of first round draft choices. We thought, uh-oh, we're in big trouble. What did they do? Go made all the moves that they needed to move. Now, a lot of people will come and say, well, they've been quite lucky. Well, you know what? You don't be lucky 13, 14, or 15 times a year. And when we go back to it, you look at the teams and the quality teams this team has beat. But one thing about it that makes me feel good, and I know I'm saying it wrong now, and I'm doing this on purpose, Redskin Commander football is back. And if we get a chance to talk about it, I brought in one of the quarterbacks. Everybody's talking about the young quarterback, how he is. I remember this young man, Jason Campbell, when he came in, and he was enthusiastic. He could throw the ball a mile and everything. And I tell you what, if he'd have had this some of the heart that did on his team, that this team have on this team, he was good enough to be doing the same thing. Then I bring Big Solomon back in. You hear that, big brother? He played power forward. They asked him to play tight end, and he didn't never play it. But one thing he did, he was with me all the time, watching every game. And he said from the beginning this was a different team. And, because I was thinking about not even having a show, he said they're going to be different this year. And I go with Donna, and I'm bringing you up first, Donna. You've been in the locker room with them. Have you seen a big change in these guys? You see them, and I don't want to hear they've been lucky. They've been this. I'm gonna just be truthful with. They still have some facets of the team that need to be worked on, but at the same time, give me your thoughts on this team.
Tony, you will never get a negative word out of my mouth this week, because this Commanders team went up there and stomped the Detroit Lions. They put their foot on their neck, never did let up, Tony. And yes, we could say that the Commanders could work on cleaning up some areas. Every team can say that that's in the playoffs right now. But the key thing is that the Washington Commanders are going to the NFC Championship game, Tony. And like you said, none of us predicted this or even could vision this year. But what this team has done down the stretch of this season has been anything but remarkable. And when you have a quarterback like Jayden Daniels leading the way, and you got to give this Commander team their flowers, but Jayden Daniels is just a quarterback that does not get rattled. And I'll let Jason Campbell, since we got him on there here this week, talk a little bit more about Jayden Daniels. But what he has done with this team, cool as a cucumber, never rattle, always think that they're going to win the game. And so much so that he's got everybody on this team believing that this Commanders team can beat anybody. What did they say? They're saying anybody, anywhere, anytime. And that is so true, because they're not afraid of anybody. You asked me what was the locker room like. Well, Tony, they seem more like a veteran locker room. I asked Coach Quinn, I said, it seems like this team is so calm to be able to go up there and play in a big game in that hostile territory, because it was loud as I don't know what up there. I couldn't even hear my brain operating. That's how loud it was. But this team went up there and played in all three phases. They played complimentary ball, Tony. And so I'm going to go right to the locker room before you bring everybody else to chime in, because this locker room was excited, but they were still low key, knowing that they had more to accomplish playing the Philadelphia Eagles next week in the championship game. But let's go talk to this locker room on the offensive side of the ball to hear what they had to say.
Complimentary football. That's what we did. We hit on all aspects. You know, we went out there, we knew what we had to do, and we executed.
This team put all the pieces together today.
Yeah, they did. You know, and I'm proud of what we did. You know, we came in here and we had one goal, and that was to win.
This team came out just clicking on all cylinders today. Defense comes up with 5 turnovers, and offense just exploded for 40-some points. Just talk about how you all put together just a complete game today from both sides.
Man, we knew that the ball was going to be life today. I mean, it is every week. And then, but defense getting 5 turnovers today is huge. It's huge for us. So against an offense like that, like for them to get 5 turnovers, it's a big deal. And then, you know, we just capitalized on we played complimentary football very well today. Like, we stayed on the field for the most part. We might have had a few where we didn't convert or we had to punt, but for the most part, we stayed on the field and, you know, kept our offense off the field, and then, you know, getting turnovers. 5 turnovers helps, man. So it's just a complete team effort today.
Jay's special. There's times that they had a better call and had us beat, and he's making it right. There's not a whole lot of guys in this league, probably a small handful that can do that. So it's challenging, but it's pretty damn fun playing for him.
As you look at that clock tick down to the last second, what's going through your mind?
Last year I was on the couch this time, just wondering what next year was going to look like for me. Going to free agency, coming off of ACL, to going to the NFC Championship game a year later. It's crazy, full circle, man.
So funny how this team put all the pieces together today in a big game like this. Talk a little bit about that. Coach Quinn been preaching about turnover battles for this defense, and you all came up big.
That's what it takes, man. The further you play, the better you have to play. We put it all together on all phases today. Today, as a result of that, man, nobody thought we would do what we did today. We did, though. So, man, it's just been a blessing, man, to be a part of this group of men, to see how everybody's bought in, and just everybody's just on the same page, man. We're trying to win. It's not about one. It's about everybody. So, yeah, that's it.
Hey, Jeremy, you're going to the NFC Championship game.
God is good, man. That's all I can say. Man, It's crazy.
Hey, Tony, and the great thing about this is the Commanders' offense did not turn over the ball one time. They stayed on the field, controlled the time of possession, which is key to keep that offense off the field for the Detroit. But on the other end, they get 5 turnovers.
You know, everybody's talking about the quarterback now and really need to do that at the time. But Jason can tell you one thing about it. When you're a leader of a team, and I remember, and I'm not saying this just because he's on the show, but I remember he was a quiet leader like that and the guy that got stuff done. You know what's most impressive about this quarterback to me, and Jason, you can chime in on this for me a little bit. They get in bad situations and he gets stronger. They get behind. Like in the game the other day when it got to 3 points down, everybody said, oh, here come the Detroit Lions. They're in trouble. He just laid back and did what he had to do. And I tell you what, is that a quality that you see in him as a young quarterback? He can turn into one of those quarterbacks that year after year they'll be starting to call him the GOAT?
Yeah, Jaden Daniels is one of those guys I got to cover in the SEC when he was playing at LSU. And, you know, you look at the team that they had offensively, they was always, like, hard to stop. You know, it's hard to stop his legs, his arm. The thing that makes him different than a lot of guys is his accuracy. You know, he doesn't have to pull the ball down and run, but the threat of him pulling the ball down and run makes teams have to approach him differently. But then defensive backs have to stay on their heels because he can easily throw the ball 30, 40 yards down the field, pinpoint accuracy, and that's something that hurts as well. But for me, the thing that he's doing really well, then even the veteran quarterbacks in the playoffs is, like you just said, like during sudden change or momentum plays where guys are coming free on blitzes, he just knows where his hot reads are. You know, he knows how to get the ball out on 4th down. The fact that Dan Quinn trusts him in his offense, you know, in those situations that every time it's a 4th down and you know if you can take points off the board, if you don't get it, you know, they're still rolling. Like they're playing to win games. They're not playing to be close and see what happens when we get in the 4th quarter. They're going out there trying to take the ball game immediately when they approach the field. And that's what I like about this team. I like the fact they let Jaden Daniels be Jaden. They're not trying to put him in a box. You look at all these other teams across the league that's lost games. The one thing their quarterbacks have done is turn the ball over. You know, Justin Herbert had 2 interceptions or 4 interceptions going into the playoffs. He had 4 in one game. Lamar, known for protecting the football, 45 touchdowns, like 4 interceptions. And, you know, he had some turnovers in the game. So a lot of teams that are turning the ball over, you're seeing that they're losing these ball games. And Washington is doing a really good job of Jaden, especially, is taking care of the football, but then knowing how to get out of bounds, knowing when to pick the plays up. Those little 5 to 6 yard rushes sometimes doesn't seem like a whole lot, but it makes the defensive line be like, dang it, man, we missed a sack. Or instead of them being 2nd and long, now they're just 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4. Now the whole playbook is still at their arsenal. I just really like how Jaden approaches the game. I heard his interview the other day where he like, I don't really think I know what's happening right now. You know, like maybe in the off season I sit back and take it all in, but right now he's just so bought in. The team is so bought in that, you know, he's playing right now hot football. But at the same time, man, I've been seeing him play this way at LSU. It's just you know, he has a defense that's thirsty. They're getting interceptions, turnovers. You can't have it all, guys. So you can always nitpick and say I can find this or find that, but when the defense get 5 turnovers and your offense is scoring almost every drive and keeping their opposing teams off the field, it's hard to find anything to complain about. You know, you have to give this team credit. You got to give Dan Quinn credit. This team reminds me of the team that went to the Super Bowl that he had with Atlanta. Anytime Dan Quinn has a good when he's the head coach and he has a good defense, his offense, like he had in Atlanta with Julio and those guys, it reminds me of that. Like his defenses are good, but when you patch it with a good offense, they're hard to stop.
Well, you know, I was here, the uniform inspector during that time, and he was always a genuine guy. He would come up and ask about the players and stuff. And when you have coaches like that, it gives you a feeling of how they really feel about the team. Some coaches that do that and then you lose a game, they won't even speak to you. But he was always amenable to being around his players and stuff. I think that's very important. And what I like, he always energetic and doing things right. His coordinator of that day really messed him up because they had the New England down 28-3 in the beginning of the fourth quarter. Julio had just made a big catch down the 30. They decided they want to put him away, and you get a fumble, and they get the ball, and they score, then they score again. Before you know it, they get even ready to lose a game. But let's go back to this. But Big Solomon, what I saw, it was important. Everyone came in this game saying, that Detroit line, they can run. They got Gibbs there. Gibbs is a bad boy, which he is a bad boy. He did run well. But I noticed our guys seemed to run a little bit better. Robinson wasn't trying to hold the ball with two hands. He was running that ball and dropping a dime on people, Solomon. And I think that's what you had to have, and that offensive line was coming off pretty good.
Well, first of all, I'm going to just be honest. The offense this year has been holding up their end pretty much. What really happened, Pop, was that defense showed up. Let's be honest. That was the first time, and rest in peace to Rich Homie Quan, but my man Quan Martin, due to Quan, as we were saying, he took that thing home. Mikey had 2 picks. They were putting so much pressure on Goff, he could not even relax for a second and look over to the side. So as much as I can say the running backs did show up, I just feel like this was the first time I saw the defense be able to hold up their end and play a complete game so Jaden can cook. So that's what I really feel. But no, the running backs, definitely. I give them Eckler. Robinson was running hard. They both was hitting it, but that defense showed up clearly. Come on, Pops. We got to give it up to them this week.
We're going to take a break, and now we will get to that defense. But you said Eckler came in, and that bought Robinson just enough change for the defensive line to have to adjust, and that was good. But at the same time, we had a defensive line. Maybe they didn't get as many sacks as you think, but they put pressure, and they played good. We'll be back in a moment to talk a little bit about that. You notice Donna Hopkins didn't say anything because she don't know nothing about defense.
I said I wasn't going to be negative.
People don't know the real story of what happened.
It was an unbelievable series of events and an unbelievable time.
Their championship was taken away from them in 1969. We are living in their championship now.
50-some years later, good is coming from it. They are impacting state after state after state after state.
And we're going to show the world how to love.
Frosted Flakes, good? They're great. Great.
They're still great, Grandpa.
See? Told ya. They're great.
Crystal City Sports Pub, located in the heart of National Landing, is ranked one of the top 20 sports bars in the country. We are open 365 days a year. Crystal City Sports Pub, with its laid-back atmosphere, is the place to be. We offer 3 levels, over 100 TVs, an 18-foot video wall, pool tables, 3 full bars featuring 11 beers on tap, an extensive menu, and super friendly staff. We offer on- and off-site catering and ample space to host private parties and gatherings. Come experience Crystal City Sports Pub. It is the place to be.
Down, Wolf, down. The Washington Redskins will be hunting Buccaneers today. But here on Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus, we are after bigger game. Take a look at this face. This is the trophy we hope to bag before the end of the show. We have some major questions for this official for the simple reason he cost us the game the last time. We will get him. Find him, Wolf. Find him.
Right now. Now you come to the favorite part of the team for me, But for everybody, you come to a defense, and you see a defense that everyone and everybody put them to the test. Even I had to never say, if you can't run with the big dogs, you better stay on the port. Well, they're running with the big dogs. And I have to give Mr. Allen a lot of credit. No one knows what it is to tear a pectoral muscle. He tore one. He was out only 5 or 6 weeks when it usually takes a year. He came back, and they say he's been playing one of the best as a defensive tackle in the league. Now, maybe I've been missing stuff and everything, but I tell you what, you look at this team, you start to hear reporters talking about they play together, they play hard, they play hustle. What have we been saying the last 2 or 3 years? Defense is tired. They can't stop anybody. They don't run. So we see a big change in this defense as well. And I'm going to just ask you first and foremost, Donna, what changes did you see when you asked them questions in the locker room? They had to have a feeling, because I know one thing. When we went to the Super Bowl, it's a feeling you'll never forget. That moment, or you're going to be in another big game or what's going to happen, it's a thrill for you. Was that in that locker room this week?
Most definitely, Tony. But can I go back just a quickie on the offense? Sam Costley tore his ACL in that game. A big loss for this Commanders team moving forward because he's out for the season with that ACL. Trent Scott is his backup, came in and played pretty good. So that's the only hit that this Commanders got on as far as injuries, but that was a huge injury. And going on to and they're definitely going to miss him, but Trent Scott has played backup this season. So hopefully, he came in and played well against that Detroit's defense. But you talk about the Commanders defense, and as Solomon said, everybody was eating from that game on defense, because Quan Martin returns one for a touchdown. And I mean, the way he ran that ball, he had the blocking, but he made some great cutbacks himself to get into the end zone. And then the forced fumble by Darius Armstrong that has played well all season long, and then they get that and then go in for a score. And then, they get 2 more. I mean, Mikey Sanders still, who is a rookie cornerback that has played. We talk about Jayden Daniels playing solid all year, not playing like a rookie. Well, Mikey is another one that has not played like a rookie all season long. And Lattimore on the other end had a tough time against Tampa, but he played big in this game against the Lions, because you didn't even hear the receivers from the Detroit side getting balls after balls. It was their running game, but St. Brown and Williams, they shut them down. But everybody came in and played well, Tony. This defense said that they knew going in that they had to at least get 3 turnovers, but they got 2 more gifts as far as 5. When have you ever heard of that, Tony, of a defense exploding like that in getting those turnovers? But this defense played big time, Tony, their best game of the season. The defensive front, you talked about that. I'm always saying pressure, pressure, pressure. Well, guess what? That defensive front came with the timber, because they rattled everybody. They stopped the run somewhat, but the pressure was the first time I saw it in a long time. But let's go into the locker room to hear from the defensive side of the ball that I'm giving all the kudos this week.
All week we talked about creating turnovers. All year, really. Ball is life. That's what we preach. And tonight we were able to get the ball and give it back to the offense. They were rolling. Being able to put up 45 points against that team, that's a really good football team over there. You know what I mean? So credit to them for, getting here. But for us, it was just another team that's in the way of what we want to accomplish. And tonight we wanted to come out here and be dominant and, prove ourselves right, prove ourselves that we are who we say we are.
You all played probably your best game of the season when it counted most.
Yeah. Winning time moments. That's what it's about. We've been preaching it all year, and it's real life. It's what it is. It's what matters this time. Playing in January in these big games, we prepared for it.
Yeah, man, we knew it to be the ball to be big this game. So, we going into the game, we said 3+, and we was able to get 5. So that means a lot. Just about the guys in this locker room, there's guys on this team, and just how much we go to get the ball.
Just talk about how this team just came together when they needed to most, and then moving on.
Yeah, man, it's just those crucial moments we always talk about, we always preach, and just continuing to get the ball, Offense was on fire today, so, just giving them the ball back as many times as possible and just letting them do their thing, honestly.
I was asking some of the other players, if you were to describe this team in a few words, what would it be?
Tough, dependable, and just brotherhood, man. Guys who gonna go out and lay it on the line for one another.
Came up here in this house, in Detroit's house, and walked away with a win, and you're headed to the NFC Championship game.
Man, it feels good, man, just to, for the defense just to come together and just play a good team ball, bro. Like, that's what we've been waiting on all year, and just to see it come together, man, it was beautiful to see, just to see guys getting the ball, making plays, seeing the guys up front, putting pressure on the quarterback, putting them in a shit storm, you know what I'm saying? Man, it was cool. The guys on the back end was covering. Everybody was just playing good camaraderie football, man. It all came together at the right times.
You all didn't stop. It started in the first quarter, and then it ended in the fourth quarter as far as turnover.
Yep, we knew that it was going to be an all-out war for 60 minutes, and we knew that we couldn't let up off the gas. So, man, just to see the guys go out there and just accomplish the mission, go out there and play disciplined football, as long as we can, even, when the offense, probably had a turnover, a stop on fourth down, we came out there, didn't blink, came out there, kept playing good football. So shout out to the guys.
And if you were to put in a few words about who this team is, what would it be?
We heavy hitters, we're poised, we're confident, and, we have a belief in one another that is not easily found.
Hey, Tony, they just moved the next team, as Michael Sanders still said, out the way. And Tony, what did you see most from this defense overall, just the physicalness of this team that finally they put all the pieces together on defense?
Well, when you see a good defense, what you're going to see is you're going to see hustle. You're going to be seeing people make extraordinary plays, but you're going to see 3, 4, 5 men around the ball. And that's what you got the opportunity to see on Sunday. Saturday, whichever night it was, Saturday Night Live, whatever it was. They did what they had to do. And what I like to see is the camaraderie, and I like to see that because it's a defensive team, not a defensive player. But if you take a look at this whole thing, and we've talked about each position, notice today, even though they play well, we haven't talked about the linebackers yet. Now, they haven't been just overly spectacular, but they've been very good. I think bringing Wagner in and letting him show these young guys how you do it, and these young guys listening to him have made it where they're not a conversation any longer. When you're in a game, you don't want to be a defensive back and they're talking about it because that means you're not doing your job. You don't want to be a defensive end, never seeing the quarterback. You don't want to be a linebacker that can't cover tight ends. But when you can do all and everything, and you do it well enough to help your team win, I think that is a big blow for the other team. Then you start talking to other teams. We've been saying the one thing they did well as defense is they stopped the run. Okay, Jason, you're offensive man. You're Philadelphia's quarterback now. You see now they're playing everything, and you got a spectacular running game. What do you try to do to this team?
Yeah, so you Jalen Hurts this week, right? Everyone's going to say load the box up and put the ball in Jalen's hand. So if you're Jalen, you really have to understand where your one-on-one matchup is going to be. This is going to be the biggest game for the corners, I think, for Washington this week with Lattimore and Mike and all those guys. I thought the biggest play in the game last week was right before the half, where you kept the 10-point lead because you didn't give Detroit a chance to score, which they tried to do, but you didn't give up 3 either. You ended up getting that interception right before the half, and then your offense was receiving the ball. So now you put them really in the hole where Washington scores. Now you put them in 3 possessions behind. That's a totally different game approach going into the locker room after getting that interception. You think about this week, Saquon Barkley is going to get the football. Philadelphia had rushed the ball more than they passed the ball this playoffs, and there's a reason for that. They understand that they're running the ball is probably their chance of better winning than them passing the ball. Jalen's been hurt a little bit, but overall, I do think Washington is going to say, hey, if you beat us throwing the football, that's the only way you're going to have to beat us, because we're not going to sit back and just let Saquon just hit us in between the tackles and pop out 200-yard games. I think you have to put the ball in Jalen's hand and see what he does. He's going to have to, like I said, hit A.J. Brown and hit Devontae Smith. But I think for this secondary, I think it was definitely a confidence builder coming off one of the best offenses in pro football in Detroit on turf. On turf, you're faster, so than you are on grass. So this week, I think those guys should be confident. But it's about, again, in this game, is limiting Philadelphia's opportunities offensively is by wearing down their defense by holding the ball, but then also not allowing Saquon Barkley to get into a rhythm running the football.
Well, big fella, we are talking about Barkley a lot, and we should be. Anybody can run for 2,000 yards and still look good at this time of the year. But they have some other weapons on that team that should be looked at. Brown is always a game breaker in the way. The quarterback right now, you can look and know that he's hurt. He's nothing like he was last year or the beginning of this year when he was not hurt. What do you think about this team? What are the other people? We got Brown we got to look out for, but they have a lot of people that they can go to on this team.
I agree with what Jay Campbell said, Pops. It's going to be really on what Jalen does. Our discipline is going to be different this week because let's be honest, and I watched this kind of start happening with Jay Campbell as a quarterback, where Jay Campbell can hit you. He could throw it or he could use his feet. That's a new type of quarterback. Let's just be honest. Goff could not use his feet. So they got to realize this week we're going against somebody, whether he's hurt or not, he can use his feet way better than Goff. And our discipline is going to be better with our corners and our defensive line because we got to realize last game we did go against them. Saquon Barkley did have 109 yards at the half. Now, we knocked Jalen Hurts out to be able to help us out during that game, but if he would have been to full speed, it would have been like the kind of counterattack that they were trying to do with Lamar and Derek up there. So I feel like we have to control and realize we're going against a different quarterback, hurt or not this week, and our discipline has to be different because we were able to put pressure on Goff, but he's a standstill quarterback where I'm going to be honest, we may have got his job taken because now you had to be a quarterback like Jay Campbell that you could throw it or use your feet. If you can't do that anymore, this is a different league.
So you know what? Last but not least, and Donna, we got about 30 seconds here. What do you prepare for the most this week? If you are the defensive coordinator, where do you go? 1, 2, 3. What 3 guys do you think you watch? Only got about 30 seconds, so hang it on me.
Yeah, you got to say Saquon Barkley. That's the other guy that you have to really stop and hold up. You had 2 that you had to worry about, Montgomery and Gibbs last week. You got 1 this week, but he's like 2 runners. And then Jalen Hurts, he got that left knee hurt, not 100%. And I mean, he's going to be limping hard. So if they can put the pressure on him, it's going to be key. And the other entity is that Eagles defense. They are solid. They're mean. They're vicious. That's the other part that you have to worry about from the Philadelphia end, Tony.
And, that's a great offer, Donna, because that defense is what I'm saying. Got to prepare for them because they are game breakers if you allow them to be. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about that defense and how Washington will win.
People don't know the real story of what happened.
It was an unbelievable series of events and an unbelievable time.
Their championship was taken away from them in 1969. We are living in their championship now.
50 some years later, good is coming from it. They are impacting state after state after state after state.
And we're going to show the world how to love.
Frosted Flakes good? They're great. Great.
They're still great, Grandpa.
See? Told ya. They're great.
As I take back and I look at this season, I know a lot of times I was just like any other person, any other fan. I didn't look a lot like it was going to happen when they got rid of the draft choices. But as I started seeing it, starting with the Chicago game, a game or a team when I used to play with, they always seem to have bad luck, and that bad luck also continued with Washington. And that seems to put them on the way to where they need to be. What they have proven is we do, and even with Detroit, with Washington. We got some teams in the playoffs now. They hard hat teams. When you say hard hats, that's the ones that go to work. And Solomon know what I mean when I say that. And so what we need right now is always to look at this team that we're going to. Philly is one of those type teams. They are a dangerous team. And I'm not going to talk long about it because, Donna, I don't know if you want to talk about the teams that have been fighting on the picks first, but let me just get this in. If you take a look at this Philly team, what is so scary about them is they're good. But what's good about them is they're jealous of each other, in my opinion. I look at that's what's happening with that. One of the receivers, and I'm not naming names, probably want to be the big man in it. But Barkley has come in and supplanted all of them as a big guy. So I look at things like that. When I play, I want to see your weakness. I want to see, you know, with a lot of times if I got with offensive tackle and he knocked me down, the next time I got up and said, how's your family? But don't let me get to the quarterback. I'll tell him I'll be back. So it's a mental thing you have to do now. And they have to mentally get ready for this team. Speaking of mentally, we have our picks each and every year, Donna, and we have a winner.
Yeah, Tony.
And were they roll? Were they to the beginning to the end, or did they go all the way?
Hey, Tony, it was so many changing times in this challenge. I mean, one place was up and the next one. But Tony, just hitting on the Philadelphia Eagles a little bit and the Washington Commanders. I believe that the Commanders have no pressure on them because nobody expected them to be here. And there's more pressure on the Philadelphia Eagles that everybody expected to be here. And the pressure on them that they haven't played good the last few games, barely been beating teams, the Rams the week before, Green Bay to get in here. But I think the Commanders right now they're just going out and play. No pressure on their shoulders, and they're not even playing like it is. But let's go to the challenge, Tony.
Wait, before you go to the challenge, what team did I tell you everybody better start looking at about 4 weeks ago? The Rams.
The Rams. Hey, but Tony, the Rams are at home. The Rams are at home. So we can't even talk about them. But Tony, let's talk about this sports challenge because we have a winner. And the glory days came in at the end, Tony.
All right.
Freaking right, Tony. And they won 26-6. It was so close because right behind them was Crystal City Pub at 24-8. And then right behind them, you know, as far as Crystal City Restaurant, Kellogg, and Still Familiar, everybody was within 2 to 3 games from winning that. But it was great play from this group all season long. As far as Billy Baines out there at Crystal City Restaurant, he came in heavy. I mean, he was excited, but I told him some of the picks, but you know, he wouldn't listen to me like many people. And then Still Familiar, you know, they was beating the drum hard all season long. They made it close at the end, Tony. Kellogg's was right on there. Feed the World, and they almost fed the picks in winning this. But of course, Crystal City Pub, just one game out of it, Tony. But we love them over there at Crystal City Pub, Jimmy and all them. But the glory days are the winners of the 2024 Crown the Champs this year, Tony. We had a lot of fun with the restaurants, and we're going to still get everybody's dish for the Super Bowl. We just want to say that. Even though Glory Days was the winner, we want the best dishes from all of these places that got restaurants.
Plus, Glory Days get a couple of them. Let's have one this week and next week. Make sure they put something out there good, because that was my first real wing place I went to when I came here many, many years ago. And as you take a look at this, it's been a long time since we've been in the playoffs. But one thing we kind of not mentioned a lot is Solomon, the special teams. They've added enough. A lot of people say, well, they haven't broke enough or they haven't done enough. But at the same time, they have not allowed the other team to break our back by making big plays. So the special teams, to me, and you tell me different, they've done their job.
Dad, the reason why I'm wearing this today is this team is, like you said, they are reminding me of the Redskins Commanders. Because it reminds me back in the day when we were rocking, and during my days of being able to be part of the Super Bowls with my father when I was 7 and 8, all facets were balling and eating. Mike Nelms and them and Monty Coleman, Vernon Dean, they were heading up to special teams, making sure you were not, as soon as you caught the ball, you're getting hit. Alvin Walton, they had him on special teams. So I just remember during the days of when we actually were where we are now, it was a little bit of luck, but I'm going to be honest, all facets, our defense was crusher. Mark was kicking the field goals, not missing nothing.
You better bet Mo's gonna be mad. Remember his hair.
But I just remember that part of it. So, and even Jay Campbell can remember, like when they were winning, all our assets was working. Rest in peace. Sean Taylor was crushing people so to get Jay Campbell the ball back. Special teams was working. So no, I'm not going to hate on the special. Gonzalez, he's been doing what he got to do. So I'm not hating on the special teams, none, because they've actually been balling on both ends, like you said, Pops, from them covering kicks to even just the field goals.
Hey, Tony, look who's joined us. Gary Clark has joined us.
That's no wonder it got so cold in the room.
Yeah, Tony, he's joined us because he's got to be happy. He was still in Detroit, making his way back here to Washington to enjoy this festive time.
He just got back.
I mean, I'm the one guy that picked us to be in the NFC Championship. So, I'm just saying, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
He did say nothing, but you know what? He was the only guy that said that.
He did.
Hey, he should have bet in Vegas early in the year. He'd be rich right now.
I should have been.
Jay, that's why he's been up there partying with them all weekend. You had to go with it and join the team because you were right. Hey, G, tell me, look at this game. And you've watched the progression of the Washington team. You watched Philadelphia, and last year at the beginning of the year they were untouchable. Then they lost it. This year at the beginning of the year they were shaky, but now they're playing well. Can this team be had? And if they can be had, what way do you go at them?
From the defensive side, the key is to stop the running back, number 26. You got to stop number 26. You stop him, and then their game becomes something a little different. Offensively, we just got to do what we do, quite honestly. Run the ball well, throw the ball well. I mean, just keep doing what they've been doing at the end of the day. They love surprising everybody, except me, because I said that they would be here. But they love surprising Donna because Donna said they would not be here. So I'm just,
I did not say they would.
She ain't gonna hold up. You know,
not throwing anybody under the bus.
Hey, G, I was with you, G. I ain't gonna front. I've been getting in trouble, and Donna could tell you I got in trouble with another brother named Lou about this situation. I've been feeling like this all year, just because like everything's been falling in place perfectly, G. I was with you, G.
Hey, but you know what, Gary? I mean, when you when you look at the receivers, back to that Detroit game for a quick one, the touchdown by Terry McLaurin, I think it was 50-some yards. Did you see the two blocks? They have been practicing this to throw this in the game, but Coach Quinn said it has to be run right, and that meant that De'Ami Brown and OZ had to block. The two blocks that they made in that particular play that freed up Terry for that touchdown, and he said Terry could not hesitate. When those blocks hit, Terry had to be gone. What did you see most in that you like moving forward with this team in the championship game?
Well, what I loved about that play is too, like he did get blocks, but he also ran through a tackle. People forget that he ran through the initial tackle that allowed him to take advantage of the blocks that he were getting. So, I mean, Terry's a whole nother thing. I mean, he really is. It's like he's on a mission. He understands what it is to want to be in this situation that they're in now. I mean, it's hard to go in and year out and never quite get to the situation where you need to be in. And finally, these guys are here, and I think they're grasping it. They're grasping the opportunity because they win one more game than the show. Come on now. They win one more game than the show. Like you said earlier, Don, they have nothing to lose and everything to win.
Exactly.
So I'm betting on them to take everything to win and go out there and win the football game. They're a better team than the Eagles.
And you know that you put it just right there, G. I got to go out there, and that's the one thing you got to have. Tenacity, and you got to just do you and believe in your teammates. When we come back, we'll wrap this bad boy up. Yeah, we got some more shows going on this year. We're going to rap to you guys about that. But one thing about it, we're going to talk games from here on out. They don't have to win and lose or do nothing. We're going to talk games because this team is starting to arrive. We'll be back in a moment.
Frosted Flakes good? They're great. Great.
You're still great, Grandpa.
See? Told ya. They're great.
People don't know the real story of what happened.
It was an unbelievable series of events and an unbelievable time.
Their championship was taken away from them in 1969. We are living in their championship now.
50 some years later, good is coming from it. They are impacting state after state after state after state.
And we're going to show the world how to love.
Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus Speakers Bureau offers you various opportunities to connect with former and current players along with Tony and the crew. For more information, go to redmagplus.com Speakers Bureau.
Well, let's do Tabata single. Yeah, let's do that. So you'll go single, single, single. All right, you go 6, 7, 8. So you got curls, tricep push down, hanging out. 2010, you're going to stick and move as I call it. Working the bicep. As you know, he's pulling, so you know already he's working the bicep. Again, this is called Tabata single. Well, you'll do this 8 rounds of this with 8 stations. So once you finish a round with Tabata single, that's 4 minutes. You'll do that 8 times, give you 32. There you go. Keep it tight. Tight to the body. There you go. Here, and you take it up like this. Up. This is the goal, to be able to do it. Just control. 6, 7, 8. 7, 8. Now I want you to try to run. Our legs out. Up and out. Up and out. Up. There you go. Come on. Okay. Hey, he made it through. But keep in mind, the way he did is not the way you're going to do all of the Tabatas. I just want to give you an idea how once you start with the first one he did, which was Tabata straight, you're going to do that 8 straight times on 8 different machines, doing 4 minutes per station. When you're doing Tabata split, you got 16 stations now that you got to do. What you're going to do, two things in 1 station. Hey guys, that's my time. I am finished this year with you guys, and I enjoyed it so much. But do me a favor for the new year. Don't just say you're going to eat well. Do it. Practice it. Eat. Try to eat clean. Drink lots of water. That's the best thing you should be doing is drinking a lot of water. And then eat clean foods. Stop eating all the restaurant, the McDonald's and all that stuff. Cook your own food. Eat a lot of protein. And let's be healthy for 2025.
Well, another great fitness tip from Ricky Irvins, who has been with us all year, getting us in shape for 2025. And Tony, we got another great game getting ready to take place. Who would have thought? The Ravens are not in the AFC Championship game. It's the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs. Tony, didn't you say that the Texans was going to upset the Chiefs? Oh, that's right. You have a lapse for a quick second.
Yeah, I was kind of off right there. Somebody just hit me upside my head, probably my wife or something, you know. I couldn't believe that it would be like that, but okay, you were right, Donna.
That came out of your mouth, Gary. Can you believe that?
Well, hey, was the game tight? Was it a runaway?
Hey, Tony, all I know it was a victory by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, we're not worried about that because they're going to lose this game, and I'm saying it. And I might as well go and say this while we got time to wait. Donna won the pick. I'm going to ask you how you can win the pick. You take.
Tony, please don't go negative. Just
you
say
take
that
the
I
names,
want
you
it.
write them down, and then you make the score.
No. Gary can tell you. I send them to him, Tony. Fans, you see how that is. Nobody can just admit that you won, just like the Commanders. I'm just like the Commanders, that people can't give you your flowers.
Just give it up. Just give it up.
I'm the only one get it. You said nobody else gave up nothing.
7. Tony, y'all didn't even have a chance. That was up by 7.
Now it's 7. But I tell you what, guys.
The fellow's picking from emotions. Donna picking with her heart.
Hey, tell me about it, Jason.
Jason, she didn't start showing her picks until the last 2 weeks.
Oh, there goes Jason.
We got to show her picks until the last 2 weeks. We got to turn our picks into Donna. She doesn't show us her picks until the last 2 weeks. At the end of the day, she can just change it to, sometimes
is like the Detroit Lions. Just cannot admit that they got beat down.
That's all right.
You know, Houston blaming everything on the refs right now.
Next year we're gonna change up. We're gonna have an outside person.
Oh, now you want to change up. Hey, but Tony, really,
show what everybody picks are, so we know going into each week.
Hey, fans, y'all hear these sore looters? But Tony, let's talk. I'm the winner, and that's the bottom line. But Tony, you got the Buffalo Bills who beat the Baltimore Ravens, 3 turnovers. They go up to Kansas City, got to play in Arrowhead. How do you all seeing this game playing out? Everybody, just chime in. What's your thoughts? I'll start with Tony.
About 2 or 3 minutes, and I'm going to say this quickly. I think this last game was due to a lot of the weather. I know the big tight end, which my heart goes out to him because he's been great all these times for the Ravens, and then he dropped that big one. But at the same time, I think it was due to the coldness and the weather. Now it's not going to be in Buffalo. Now Buffalo is set to do this. I don't want to say it because I always jinx the team, but I would like to see Kansas City win it. But at the same time, I think Buffalo will.
Hey, Jason, your thoughts?
Well, I always say, until you beat me, I'm still undefeated. And right now, Pat Mahomes is 3-0 against Josh Allen in the playoffs. In the regular season, Josh Allen is 4-0 or 4-1, I think, against Mahomes. But home field advantage means something in these situations. I think Mahomes going to his 7th straight AFC championship. I think the pressure is on Kansas City, but I think Buffalo finally getting over the divisional hump. I think I'm coming there and play solid football, but you still gotta beat the Chiefs in Kansas City. So I'm still gonna say KC.
Solomon.
I'm gonna stick with number 84. Just like we stuck with this team saying we were gonna get this far. I'm not betting against Mahomes. So I'm going with Kansas City.
Gary, I'm leaving up to you because you've been saying KC the whole year.
You ain't gotta ask me. it's Kansas City.
Tell him 84. Tell him 84.
Hey, he's still voting for New England. Brady ain't Brady.
It's a Kansas City house in here.
We got to break out of here. When we come back, we'll be saying goodbye. But we just want you to know, hey, we happy. And every time they win, we win because we'll be back the next week for show. So when we come back, we'll take a little quick and get out of here. Y'all guys can get ready for the game because we're going to see a good one. We'll be right back.
In the Minute with Tony and Donna. You can catch them weekly on their podcast, and you could also subscribe to their YouTube channel, In the Minute.
Frosted Flakes good? They're great. Great.
They're still great, Grandpa.
See? Told ya. They're great.
People don't know the real story of what happened.
It was an unbelievable series of events and an unbelievable time.
Their championship was taken away from them in 1969. We are living in their championship now.
50 some years later, good is coming from it. They are impacting state after state after state after state.
And we're going to show the world how to love.
We at Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus, we're like the Washington Redskins. We are in hunt of the Seahawks. This is a tough bird. We know it's a lot of things we need to do to catch this bird, just as the Redskins. First of all, we must protect our territory. All do that at all costs. But next and foremost, you can't make mistakes. Keep your eye on the target, because last but not least, it's only one shot. One shot. The Seahawk is tough. Hark! I see one!
One more thing. Well, we've had a good time here today, and I tell you what, because this team is winning, they have another hurdle, and when they get that hurdle, they have an even bigger one. But the one thing about it, we had the opportunity to see them grow up. That is what's so important about this. They are growing up as a team. They have opportunity to beat another team, so all they have to do, I can go out and do it. And one thing about it, and one thing we do know, they can do it. So one thing, get ready. We'll be back next week getting ready for the Super Bowl. And you get ready. Now, I tell you what, guys, thanks for everybody being there. Jason and Gary even came in, Big Saw and Donna. When we come back again, we may be talking Super Bowl, but now we're talking never say goodbye. We say in the minute.